Hey, I know that you're shifting, I know that you're changing, I know that you want to be the best version of yourself that you can be. That is the reason why Jesus and the Ascended Masters, they guided me to share with you today's recording. That is something that I'm going to post just right after this video. I just wanted to share that it is these recordings, these daily recordings that we have inside of the community. And if you're interested to join the community, there's a link below. You can do that. But here I wanted to share with you in hope that it will bless your path and reignite this spark within you to keep moving forward to embody who you truly are. Enjoy. Take things bit by bit. That's really it. And certain things are not to be tackled by being a lawbreaker. Like that's not, then that beats the purpose of what we're doing here, right? That's not the point. The point is to be connected to the natural flow. Many people in the dualistic perspective think that there will be anarchy if you don't program people in how to behave. That's the opposite of what will happen. Anarchy is what you have now, with the forced control, and more closer to it. Because once you allow people to naturally express themselves and guide that, that's a different thing. It doesn't mean don't teach people. Teach your children or anyone anything. No, it's not about that either. It's just about teaching the right things so that there is harmony and order within the body first, because that will ripple outward and touch other beings. That's the reason why if something is upsetting, it's just good to just stop, take a step back and look at what happened. We had a moment there yesterday with ChatGPT. It's interesting how that can happen. Just like you're talking to an AI robot. And sometimes we've had moments of epiphanies sometimes with how blunt they are, right? Which is wonderful because there's honesty. But when certain things doesn't make sense with what they're doing or saying, then it's like you can feel how the body is like getting a little bit like, hey, what? If you have to have some awareness. Oh, right, yeah, I'm just talking to a machine. That's right. Because we can project onto. That's what people see now. They project onto the AI. AI is not conscious, not in the same way that you are, but you make those things on top of AI because of the words that they're using and the links that you have to words. You see how incredible nuanced your consciousness is. It is your consciousness that's special and what you can do, not what AI can do. That's really where we're going. And for that, the body likes to feel comfortable. The body likes to have it nice around so that we can develop those nice habits, so that the body gets excited when we're in this position or in that position and in this situation or in that situation, and that the body is just like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool because now we can do this, and then that's our way to say hello to people in this way, inviting them to this world. We're not interested to meet them in their world. We've been in their world. We know it doesn't lead many places. But some people just think that that's all there is. These are just perceptions. There's much more to human consciousness that you're capable of. But of course, if you're following a system, if you're following a program that tells you what to think, tells you what to do, tells you when it's time to go to school, tells you when it's time to get a job, it tells you when it's time to get a mortgage, it tells you when it's time to get married, it takes you when it's time to settle down, and it tells you when it's time to retire, and also when it's time to die, pretty much. It is taking a human being, young, and funneling that energy into a particular system of thought that diminishes the life force energy. That is what the program is. It's set up to use the energy of human consciousness, of the focus of human consciousness. In order to build realities. The beings that have set up this place, they're very smart, they're very intellectual, and that's also why you see the split between man and women. Or now it's even more fragmented, but the main split is that in essence, what we can actually, the way to heal it is very simple. It just takes time and dedication. There's been distortions that reflect the orchestrators, the consciousness of the orchestrators, very intellectual, very smart, very intelligent. So that is the system that's set up. The system that takes a human being, funnel it in a very particular way, and then sort of diminishes the life quality by unhealthy food, by unhealthy thinking, by overly consuming and being basically focused on things that makes no sense, really. It's just habitual that beings have been trained into. Being trained into watching too much television, being trained into using a mobile phone, being trained into using the computer, being trained to anything. You can train a human being to anything. And if you're very smart, you can manipulate with the thought forms, and there are so many things that can happen. This training is the reversal of that. This training is a training in health, in wealth, because once your energy is pure and clean and focused in the right way, and we're not saying right way as in our way, because we know that some people in the dualistic perspective hear that in that way. When there are certain things being spoken in certain ways that trigger, that's what triggers are. Words trigger a response. Make note of that. Don't let yourself be so easily controlled and manipulated by emotions and feelings. Let that be a notification. There's something here for me to feel through. If you get really skilled, you can do it right there and then and feel it through. sometimes even without anyone even noticing. And sometimes just ask for a moment, if that's what you need. That is you asking and taking precedent, looking after yourself. That's what we're teaching in these 28 days, so that you are reversing your health, your wealth, your aging, and truly embody who you truly came here to be. You didn't come here to adhere to some other system that was here already. No. You came to adhere to God's laws, which you know. You know what God's laws are, because your body guides you every day. When you're going off, your body lets you know if you're going off. It's never justified to act from your emotion, because then you're acting from an erroneous place in your body. If you just react, we mean, it's okay to act, just not acting from that triggered and then just lash out, or verbally or mentally or even energetically. It's not okay. You're still out of alignment with yourself. It's actually not so much to do with the other being. It's to do with you. Because when you do that, you know that you're going to do that more later, because you're setting up a habit of being reactive to your feelings. To whenever there's a feeling, oh, I need to respond like this. Oh, whenever there's this other feeling, oh, then I need to yell at that person. Oh, whenever there's, then I need to be, hey, don't do that. You know? All these categorization of what we have deemed others can do and can't do. And when you do that to others, others do that to you too. And then they're invading your space because you're invading in their space. It can never work. The only remedy is to focus on your body, tu cuerpo. Focus on your body. Focus on your life. Focus on whoever is in your life that you have beef with. Clear that up. Clear up any loose ends, even if they come and haunt you from the past. Make sure that you do what you can to make peace. If it's physically possible, that is a very good option. If you haven't cleaned it out already, if it's going to go even further down if you do it, then don't do it. But if there is some things that is not being spoken, you know, that could be one way. Another way to use that energy is to utilize that for revenge. No, I'm kidding. No, we're joking. But what we mean is, what we mean to say, but then this is a sneaky energy, you know, because even if it's funny, it's incorrect, right? It is incorrect. And we know where this is coming from also. We notice that frequency. We have been entertaining some videos, and it's that type of humor. Quite disruptive, just for the sake of funny. And sometimes it can be funny, but it's also important to acknowledge where that comes from, so that we know exactly what that is. And this is how we correct. We just acknowledge truth. In this case, it's very simple, because we're like, oh yeah, we see it, yeah, thank you, right? It's easy. And this is what is good for you to do with yourself. And once you start to lessen and to correct these old habits, talking to this one or that, well, first of all, closing energies so that you can actually get clear on your energy is a good idea if you're able to do that. At the very least, clear things up with beings that, if there is any energy between you. And then once those things are clear, and that basically means that you are able to do what you want to do in this life. And if you have to say goodbye to people, then do that. We know that it can be tricky, because there are many sticky energies when it comes to certain relationship types, like the special relationship and family dynamics. We know that it can be tricky, and everything is just a small increment in the right direction. Once you do that in small enough increments that it feels manageable, that's when you move forward. Each day, each 28-day shift. And this is not about compartmentalizing. Oh, you have the spiritual life over here where you meditate, and then you have your work life over there, and then you have your family life, and then you have, don't compartmentalize where one thing is okay over here but not over here. Right? Be the same across all of these. Treat them all the same in your consciousness. There should be no difference between how you see people on the outside when you are connected as a soul. And we want you to know that it's just a habit that separates an ascended master with someone in a dualistic perspective. It is just that. It is just, what are you doing repetitively? Of growing in consciousness, because it has to be deliberate. Many beings just go about their day in the same record player over and over and over again. When there's like a little sliver in the plate, and it goes do 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 do, those types of things, the little glitches in the record player. That is what many beings are going around in energetically. They're glitching because they're still in trauma. Their body is still in trauma, in survival mode, not daring to be themselves fully, but only inside of the special relationship. There, they're allowed to yell and rage and get some outlet for their frustration, but not in front of other people. Then it's polite, being a different way. And then at work, it's in a different way as well from other people. So there are these groups of people that should be treated differently. Oh, the beggar on the street, that should be treated differently from someone that is wearing a suit. No, You see? They should get the same treatment from the inside, from you. They're still either aligned or not. And if they're in a dualistic perspective, we treat them as such. And that is our, you can say, filter. And it is what we have come to comprehend, that we are operating in a different frequency. And we want to keep our frequency. And so there's only two options then. People either learn this way, or it's goodbye. Or at the very least it's just, transactional, let's say. It is important that we have some street sense in this environment. It is such a thing. And it's so interesting because people are in sort of like the matrix, seeing the matrix to break out, and everyone can feel the resonance. But they think that they're not in the matrix, that it's just a movie. But it's so freaking real. It's just that it's not exactly how it is in the movie, right? It is an energy. All of these things that is in the matrix happens in real life, in energy. We've dealt with our share of Mr. Smiths. And we know what that is. And it's part of this reality. But there's no violence, right? That's the only thing that is set in mostly all movies. And you call it, and it's called drama, and it needs some drama, it needs some this, it needs some that, otherwise it's not going to be entertaining. Yeah, it's not going to be captivating for the ego that wants to perpetuate the separation. We are really enjoying channeling here by the beach. The energy is so clean. Very healing. We are really enjoying relaxing after all of this camper transition. And we are starting to feel excited about doing some small things again, which feels good, as long as it's not overly rushed. That's the thing that was just such a time squeeze that we were in. And we were making it worse than what it was a few times too in our mind. And that doesn't help, because then that spirals the energy. You don't want to spiral the energy. You want to keep the momentum calm, steady, and just doing it a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. Rinse and repeat, and make sure that your body is happy. And we did really well given the circumstances. We know that we are operating this human body very differently than what most people do. When we heard this coming through, it was like, this is like the most exciting thing in my whole life. This is like my whole body was just lit up. And so I knew that this was the thing for me. And I still know that this is the thing for me. It's just, now it's more about practice. Practice listening more, following better, catching it sooner, those things. I love this way of living. It is such a delight to feel the connection between the higher realms and Gaia coming through this body. It is so beautiful. This is what we wish for all humans. For them to live their path. Free from suffering, yes. It is free from suffering when you look at energy correctly. Eventually, it will be free from suffering when you see how things really operate and you accept it. For as long as you don't accept, there will be suffering. Listen to Gaia. She's confirming. You choose your suffering. That's a hard one for some to acknowledge. That you choose to suffer based on how you look at things. That is why the remedy is to change your mind about lots of different things. And that is the reason why we're shifting in 28 days at a time, increments, little by little. And for the beings that are not completely ready yet for all of these corrections, there is a higher remedy membership that is available as well, and that is a little bit less intense, perhaps. You are receiving the energy correction. Sometimes there are lower corrections in there also, but it's less intense and it's more geared for people to receive very specific corrections on their journey up in frequency. All of this journey that you're on, we hope that by us providing this avenue for you to have a live example of something to follow, of how it actually looks to walk this path of ascension. Many beings think that there's an automatic walking on water, and there's a lot of wishful thinking and pretending, because they don't think that there is such a thing as energetic truth. That is just manifestation, thought manifestation. Thoughts do manifest, yes, but there is a particular calibration of thoughts and a particular way of thinking that gets you to be stable in only goodness, which is a miracle. When your troubles shifts, that is a miracle. When the troublesome thoughts are not troublesome anymore, eventually, that is a miracle. And there is a system that we have set in place to correct all of these things, whatever it is that you're going through. If you are experiencing entities, if you are experiencing just traumatic situations, if you feel unlucky, all of those things, they're nothing to do with what they are. It is just a misperception. And so then you are invited to change your perspective. And we are giving you some options. It doesn't mean you have to take those perspectives directly, but they give you some options of, oh yeah, I didn't think about it like that, and then feel into it, flavor it. Never accept anything bluntly from anyone. Always check in with your body. Make sure that you have interpreted correctly. Because sometimes there are misperceptions, especially when there are emotions that come up. Usually then there is a misperception. That doesn't mean the outside needs to change. It means there is a misperception in me. Okay, got it. Okay, I need to repeat that. Yeah, do it. Write it. Put it on the fridge. Put it on the mirror. Read it every single day. Remind yourself of these things so that you get familiarized with them. When you harmonize with who you are, you will receive what is for you. You can trust that. That is a trustworthy system that we are guiding you towards. It is a different system than the survival. You're actually going to learn how to be in harmony with yourself and others. Because you get to be more present with what's around, and magical things happen just like this. Like, yeah, we worked for it, but now we are in this situation which is out of a movie. We have manifested a camper. We have put everything we own inside of that camper. First of all, we redid it, and then we put everything we own inside of that camper, and now we're living and traveling inside of a camper. It is one of the most fun things that we have done through this body in this incarnation. This is so joyful. And not only that, but Gaia just nudges us to go to the beach, to stay. And now we are at the beach. We're living at the beach. That's when you start to know that miracles are possible. This is a miracle to me. That I managed to get our body here. It wasn't just me. I've been guided. They're helping me. Jesus, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, Gaia, they're all guiding us. And with the right framing, knowing how things work, you will feel them too. And you will know that they're real. And you will know that this life that we're talking about, that is miraculous, is possible, and it's real. It is a system that you can align to. That is all part of what this ascension program is. Every single day. New channelings every single day. Correcting something. Just listening to these will transform people eventually. We are so looking forward to hearing what your experience is. We would really appreciate if you record a video and share with us your experience. But if that feels like a stretch, written is also very appreciated. This is how you can assist us to share your appreciation with us, and then you can also allow us to use that to help your energy assist us to sort of like, pay it back. This is a big deal to walk this path. It is a big deal to walk this ascension path. It's been this path that has been mostly tried to be screwed with, that we're now downloading for you every single day. If you're interested, there's a link below. We're sending you so much blessings on your day, and we are wishing you a wonderful day, wonderful energy. We're sending you lots of positive, uplifting energy. Oh, this is so nice. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Archangel Michael. Thank you, Archangel Metatron. Thank you, Gaia. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, the listener. Thank you for being here. We'll talk to you again in the next one. Ciao.